Hey everyone, and welcome. So, if you're an international student who just tossed that graduation cap into the air here in Canada, first off, a huge congrats. That's amazing. Today we're going to break down one of the most important next steps you can take, the post-graduation work permit.
You've done it. You've put in all those long nights studying, you've earned that degree or diploma, and now you're probably standing there asking yourself that one big question. Okay, now what? It's a question every single graduate faces, but for international students, it has a whole different weight to it, right? Well, you're in exactly the right place because that's what we're tackling today.
All right, so let's get right into it. That feeling of what's next after graduation is totally normal. But here's how I want you to think about it. This isn't an ending, it's the official starting line for your professional journey right here in Canada. And the key that unlocks that whole journey, well, it has a name.
It's called the Post-Graduation Work Permit, or as you'll hear everyone call it, the PGWP. Basically, this is Canada's way of saying, hey, we're so glad you studied here, and we'd love for you to stick around and put those skills to work. It's your official license to really start building a career.
Yeah, you really got to think of this thing as more than just some official document. It really is your golden ticket. It's the bridge that's going to take you from your student life straight into your professional future in Canada. So, what makes this ticket so golden? Let's take a look.
Okay, the key thing to get here is that the PGWP is an open work permit, and that is huge. It means you're not tied down to one specific company. You have the freedom to work for pretty much any employer, anywhere in Canada. And if a better job comes along, you can switch, no problem. This flexibility is what lets you get that all-important Canadian work experience, which, as you're about to see, is absolutely the most crucial step towards making Canada your permanent home.
Okay, so you're probably thinking, this sounds amazing, but do I even qualify? I get it. The requirements can look a little intimidating at first, but they're actually pretty straightforward once you break them down. So let's just go through it like a simple checklist.
All right, let's just run down this list point by point. First, you had to have graduated from a designated learning institution, a DLI. Second, your program needed to be at least 8 months long. Third, you had to keep your full-time student status the whole time. Number 4 is super important. Your study permit has to still be valid when you hit submit on that application. And finally, don't wait around. You only have 180 days from the day you get your final marks to apply.
Okay, another big question I always get is, so how long does this thing actually last? How long can I work for? Well, the good news is the answer is simple. The length of your PGWP is tied directly to the length of your study program.
So here's the deal, and it's pretty black and white. If your program was less than 8 months long, then unfortunately you're not eligible. If it was between 8 months and 2 years, your work permit will be for the exact same length as your program. But here's the sweet spot, the real goal. If you studied for 2 years or longer, you can get a work permit for up to 3 full years, and that is a fantastic amount of time to get your career off the ground.
All right, so you've checked the boxes, you know you're eligible, you know how long your permit should be. What's next? Well, it's time to actually apply. Let's walk through what you'll need to get it all sorted. Okay, time for a little document scavenger hunt. Here's what you're going to need to pull together. You'll need your valid passport, of course, and your current study permit. Then you need to get 2 really important documents from your school, an official letter of completion that says you're done, and your final transcript. And last, you'll need a recent digital photo that meets their specific requirements.
And what about the cost? Right now, you're looking at a total of $255. And that fee actually covers 2 different things. There's a $155 fee for the work permit itself, and then another $100 for something they call the open work permit holder fee.
So, where do you actually do this? It's all done online. But, and this is important, make sure you're on the official Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada website. That's the IRCC. You definitely want to be on the official government site to avoid any scams or problems.
You know, up to this point, we've been talking about the PGWP as a way to get a job, right? But honestly, that's only half the story. The real power of this permit, its true value, is what it leads to. This permit is designed to be your bridge to something way bigger, permanent residency.
Just picture it like this. Getting your PGWP, that's step 1. It's the essential first move you make right after you graduate. It gets you in the door. And once you're in that door, you can start putting in the hours and getting that super valuable Canadian work experience. And trust me, that experience is like gold to Canadian immigration programs.
And that work experience, well, that's the absolute key that unlocks the door to permanent residency. It's what turns the dream of living in Canada long-term into a very real, achievable plan.
We're talking about making you a prime candidate for major immigration routes like the Canadian Experience Class, or CEC, which is a big part of the express entry system. And then there are all those different provincial nominee programs, the PNPs. These are some of the best and most popular ways to become a permanent resident.
So, you see, the PGWP, it's not just a permit. It's a strategy. It's a roadmap that takes you from being a student to a professional to a permanent resident. It takes that big, scary question of what's next and turns it into a clear plan of action. So, really, the only question left to ask is, are you ready to build your future in Canada?